What's up, gamers? Welcome to the Elf series. We're becoming a Brit. I kind of analyzed them. I think British or Old British is about as close as you can get. I wanted to make an allegory towards real life. Now, I know the orcs are like Cockney or something, is what I've heard. That they're like these boxers or football players, is what they're based off of. But they're my orcs, they're my boys. So we have this. I'm gonna go Tyrion. I've never played elves. I think in my entire life, I've only ever played the dragon guy, and he's barely an elf. Like, you're down in the desert, you're not with anyone. It's chill. And I also kind of had to make this choice about which one I'm going to play in Warhammer 2 in the Vortex campaign. I'm thinking Lore Masters of Hoeth. That seemed pretty interesting. They're over there in Lustria. It seemed like it was going to be a jolly good time. And that was also something I had to think about because I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go back and play all these, all these quests and all these characters I wanted to play. Like, there was some orcs and there was some of these other characters I really wanted to play. And I wanted to have a lot of fun with playing in, how do I explain this? I wanted to play all these characters again in Warhammer 3. And of course, there are some of them I'm gonna have to, like the Gore Queen and some of these other characters that I look at. And I'm like, yeah, I want to play that. Like the Jade Dragon and stuff. Those are for sure going to be episodes and fun. But then there's like Grimgore, or no, who is it? The other Iron guy, the dwarf that you can play in the Vortex campaign. There are campaigns like that where, of course, I'm gonna have to play those. Well, not have to. I'm going to have fun playing those, because I do want to do Vortex campaign at least 3-4 races, like elves and some other ones. Kind of axolotl. Just play, have a lot of fun, and that'll either be post or pre Warhammer 3 modded. The only issue I'm currently having, or like, let's form our staunch line of spearmen and set up in a proper elvish formation real quick before Yep, there we go. Now we'll be on the defense side. We'll send our Phoenix over to firebomb them, as you do. But as I was saying, the only issue is that there's all these updates coming out, right? There's all these updates. I've heard they're going to break mod packs. Now, that's alright, I'm only going to do like 1 or 2 runs with each mod pack to just show them off and have some fun with you guys. But then there's also the case of, like, I don't want to, like, break the game. I don't know if you can do that. I don't want my game to just be fucking gone. So that's a little bit scary for me. I will, make that decision when the time comes. There's for sure a chance I'll just be like, you know what, let's just play Warhammer 2 before Warhammer 3 modded. Now, I already have like a year of Warhammer 3 recorded, and that makes me so happy. Because it means I get to work on improving my craft without worrying about, oh no, am I going to have an episode filmed for next week? And I know it can be a bit disappointing for you guys, hearing this, like, it's before fucking Christmas for me. The fact that you guys are going to be hearing this late, it's not going to be current events, but it's not like I'm a fucking drama YouTube channel. I'm gaming, I have a lot of fun gaming, I have a lot of fun filming. So there's just a choice I have to make for myself on how quickly I put these out there. Even like yesterday or the day before, I made a decision where I'm going to do Project Zomboid once a week. And then Variety Day is just going to be the 4 games, maybe. Terraria, Risk of Rain, Rotato, and Darktide. Now, I don't even know that. There's a good chance I do Risk of Rain or Brotato on another day. Like Brotato Mondays or something. I don't know. It's something, and I've had to think about this. Let's go get this island real quick. Because we gotta get the island. It should give us some money to recruit. Or it could give us a campaign boost. Let's see. Oh, Spearmen, I don't give a fuck about those. Lothran and Seaguard are gonna do better. Or I can recruit better Spearmen down the line. your elvish units at the beginning, even though they're described as like a dying race, your elvish units kind of fucking suck, okay? You're meant to like throw those in the fodder and let them die until you get some of those higher class units, which kind of pisses me off. I feel like they would have a harder time recruiting, where it would be like 3 turns for even the most basic spearmen, but like your tier 1 would be equivalent to like the tier 3 of another faction, because you guys are long lived. Most of these guys have been alive since the first siege of Prague with Magnus the Pious. So they're like 200 years old. You've been a spearman for 200 fucking years, and some dark elves that are pretty young actually, because dark elves are a booming population from what I've heard. They're not dying as much as these guys are. Your dark elves. Oh, what? Oh, yeah. I'll explain what happens with this battle afterwards. Spoiler warning. It rhymes with stave stum. No, I was on a point. I want to finish it. I mean, they're a long-lived race. They, from what the books put it as, they are having less of a population boom than the dwarves. And the dwarves are a dying populace, like, explicitly described as such. And they have even less. That's crazy to me. And you know, they're pretty stingy with, like, oh, we don't breed with the mortals. I'm like, dude, you live 2,000 fucking years. You're not mortal. If, you guys were just in Albion and fucking Godric and Felix, and if you got jumped by those spiders alone, you'd be dead just like anyone. Don't even do that poop. Wait, why the fuck did I not swear? I wasn't in an environment where I can't swear. I think I just had like a flashback to not being able to swear when I was younger. What the fuck just happened? My bad, gamers. Firebomb that dude. I love any unit that you can drop bombs from that's flying. It's fucking badass. I gotta think about this. So we're gonna keep pushing these lines. Right now I'm thinking of whether I want to talk about horoscopes, because I'm gonna like alienate half my... you know what? I personally don't believe in them. I did the, I'm gonna say it. I don't give a fuck. We're battling. There's an insane statistic I just read, because in between takes I like to read while I let my voice rest, about horoscopes. 50% of people believe them. Now, it might have been a BS, like, Instagram statistic, but that seemed pretty accurate based off of people I've interacted with. And that's just crazy. I don't believe them. I knew witches in high school. Like, to the point where I learned runes and stuff. You gotta do what you gotta do. They were really nice people, great friend group, so I don't regret it at all. But, I learned about runes. I did, like, the full horoscope, where, like, you have your rising sign, you have your wilting, like, where you're born, exact time. There's charts of things that'll happen in your life, with, like, oh, in your 20s, you're going to have a great loss. And, it's shit that's going to happen. It's like, in a 10-year period, you're gonna have that shit happen. Like, unless you're a fucking NEET, then it's like, horoscopes don't work on me. But, I don't know, I don't believe in them. I think it would need something major to convince me. But then also, it's like space prejudice, dude. Just say it how it is. I've had some crazy stuff with, like, I've had friends where I'm just like, oh yeah, I was born during this month, and they're like, oh, we're not compatible as friends. I'm like, okay, my bad. Like, that's insane to me. I don't know why it came up. It was just like a recurring thought. I've had weird interactions with it, and now we're actually gonna load this in auto resolve, cause fuck that. That was a good ass battle. I wanted you guys to see it, so we're gonna scave scum a little bit. But yeah, no, that's enough on horoscopes. It's just something I just found it silly. I wanted to bring it up because it was just at my attention, and I don't want my attention to bounce around and forget it. But no, it was a good battle. I think the Dark Elves in some ways are stronger than the normal elves at sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes they are. So we'll go ahead, we'll recruit up, and then we've got to do this influence thing. Influence is pretty crazy. Late in the game, I had a shit ton. I had maybe, I want to say, like, near 1,000. You can spin that to do shit. Like, I could just spin that to be like, hey, Dark Elves, we're no longer at war. Like, if I wanted to. And there'd be other things, like, oh, I could just auto, essentially, how do I explain this? Auto confederate factions just by, you know, spamming influence on them. Any of the elf factions just spam influence and be like, you guys are mine. Forever and always love Tyrion. And then I think if I do another elf campaign, which I'm not sure I will, it's going to be one of the more themed ones. He's very basic. He's like the Phoenix King. You know, he's the main elf, so he doesn't like necessarily buff anything. So for sure, if I do something else with like elves and a couple of these other factions like orcs, I'm going to choose a very themed faction. So I'm gonna do like who's that one? Who's the one green skin that? Fuck. I'll do maybe like Grom. Not Grom. Maybe that dude with the big mask, the necromancer guy. Just an idea I'm throwing out there. Like, he would be one of the ones I would consider doing. Yeah, for sure. He would be one of the ones I'd consider doing. I just don't know. I don't know if I'll do a second green skin before Warhammer 2. There's a possibility I do Warhammer 2, and then, you know, that will be my only greenskin faction. We'll see. I actually, after this take, I will boot up Warhammer 3 and Warhammer 2, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But I have something else to chat about during this take and this battle that's about to happen. Fucking CA apologized. Yeah, that'll tell you guys when this is. They apologized. I read the thing, and they're refunding people, which feels like a big gesture to me. They're also releasing all these things. I've seen people pissy that's gonna break mod packs. It's like, I would prefer to, as somebody who once modded games or participated in modding communities, not skilled at anymore, as way back in the day I was pretty deep in the Minecraft modding forums with like the Lord of the Rings mod pack and stuff. As someone who participated in those, I would 100% prefer an updating game than adding new content and eventually, you know, being its complete self and adding more tools for modders than a incomplete game. Just off the bat, I want to say that. So I really appreciate what they're doing, and I hope their actions speak louder than their words. As this was a pretty decent apology, but I really do want to see this new... I want to see Shadows of Change have a better, you know, whatever they're going to do in February, and I really want to see the what do you call it? The Nurgle one, the Thrones of Decay. I really want to see it come out well. And then my hopes for it, I'm not going to actually be... I'm happy that this is coming out so late. I'm hoping we get a Famir faction, a Albion faction, maybe a mutant... This is just like hopeful thinking. I really want mutants. I love mutants. I love the idea of it kind of being like Throt, where you ingest Warpstone and you mutate your army more. And it would be like a roaming army, like within the Empire. Mutants would be so badass. And there are some pretty strong ones described in the books. I think that would be really cool. I'd like a permanent hero faction. So like an adventures faction. So like Godric, Felix, all these characters you see in the books that would join up for brief times. So you'd get people like, it'd be a bunch of quest battles throughout the map, like maybe 10, 20. And you'd have Godric and Felix and you'd join other armies. I think that'd be really cool. I don't know. I have all these ideas, and I think they're pretty silly. I don't know. Like, I do have a lot of ideas. I really do. Like the mutant faction, and then let's think about this. So it was the mutant faction was one of them. A hero faction I thought was pretty cool, and I wanted to see just some additions to the old factions, and then maybe like a Lamia faction. And there's so many other. I just feel silly not being able to come up with these. I know I had more factions. I know I wanted Norska to be redone. I knew I wanted, it's all these reworks, and there's all these lore factions I remember I had ideas for, and I just don't write them down. So now I kind of feel stupid I brought it up, but hey, it applies. We won the shit out of that battle. We had a decent formation, spamming spells. We didn't lose too many, and we dealt a shit ton of kills and a shit ton of damage, and we'll get to drive these goblins or orcs back further, get them off of our island. And that's also just a good settlement to claim for us, because it's going to help secure our borders so no one can come around the right side and just go right into our capital. On that note, I'm going to I'm announcing, which I don't like to do. I'm ending this take. I'm going to go look at Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 3, and we'll talk a bit more about those plans. So I want to get it out there before I fucking forget. It was actually surprisingly simple. So I'm going to do one high elf, one dark elf, and a lizardman for sure. And then maybe Bretonia. We're working our way down to Count Nautilus to fuck him over, as he's up here on our territory, so I won't work my way down and fuck him over. And then we'll see if we're going to do like a Torix. We might do a Torix. We might do some other factions. We're going to browse and see what might work for us. And I think it'll be some fun. But we're for sure going to do some of those main Warhammer 2 factions. That does include Skaven. We're going to have some fun with some Skaven. See what sort of Skaven faction has the most fun in Warhammer 2. So that's just like the plain and simple of it. Those are the factions we're going to have fun with. Also, if I lisp or my voice slurs, I just tore open my fucking tongue. I'm ashamed to admit it. I was watching fucking Instagram while sipping on this can right here. I pulled the can away, and my tongue's still like on the brim to make sure I don't spill it. And then it was one of those screamers like back in the day. I fucking bit the hell out of my tongue, and it's actually like torn open. It's bad. I don't enjoy it. It's dirt nasty, dude. Either way, though, it's about time we head back up, because we're about to cause some issues with the Dread Fleet. They're going to come for the second army I recruited. Now, this army is not that useful. It's just a nice little army. So we're just going to retreat. We couldn't retreat. We could fight that. It's not going to be a whole lot of fun, so we're just going to auto-resolve it. We heavily damaged them. They can't heal here. We're going for this island. Explore the island. Take it. We're just getting so much money here, which is a good thing. Like, we're stacking up money so we can upgrade all of our settlements, which is going to go into our core settlements, which is really fucking nice. Now we're coming back here and do an area we can heal our friendly territory. And then next turn, we're going to move up here to assist our boy. Right there. And then we'll see. This guy can just auto-resolve. It's another legendary lord we recruited. And that's going to be nice, and we're going to have Tyrion come on up and fuck up Count Nautilus. We did... I remember fighting a battle with Count Nautilus or one of them, but I think I loaded the auto save before. Ooh, defensive alliance, we'll take that. They're on our right flank. That'd be really nice. But Point stands. We did fight a battle with these guys, and I'm pretty sure I save scummed it. We'll see if it's in here. I think it might in fact be in the footage. Let's see if it's here. Yep, this is the battle. I think we auto-resolved our way out of this, or we loaded and auto-resolved like the earlier battle. I'm still showing you guys I'm growing, but I'm not save scumming to the same degree with every turn being a save or whatever. I do, however, like to, just be set up and, have the confidence or the assurance that I know I need to auto-resolve some things when I'm kind of a doofus. Gentle reminder not to fucking text and comment. Oh my god, more fucking notifications the second I start. 3 takes done because people keep texting me. My lord, the buzzing of my phone. I'm not ending this take. I'm putting myself on Do Not Disturb. This is the 3rd take, and the end of last take I started getting texts. My report card got out. I currently have a 4.0 GPA in college, which people are quite proud of, which would be nice, and is really nice. I may have dinner with them and be really appreciative of their opinions. The only issue was that I am, they're texting me while my phone says I'm at work, while, my status says I'm at work. I'm not at work, and I think they know that. They know my schedule. So unfortunately, they're like, "Oh, you're not at work. You're just doing YouTube or something." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter though. I should be able to have this be treated the same as when I'm on the job, but it's a hobby. It's not a job, and I think there's a big distinction between those two, so I won't complain too much. I just want to vocalize if you guys heard buzzing or if something goes through my Do Not Disturb. That is why I am working on it. We're trying our best here. It was guns versus archers and spearmen. It really didn't work out the best. I probably could have won it. It was our legendary Lord army. There's so much you can do with a legendary Lord army. I should have been able to win that. I should have been able to do all of this and that and whatever the hell. It could have been a victory. And we need to be plain about that and frank and honest. It could have been a victory if my strategic planning was better. I just don't know how I would have done it. I think my army has to play into it as well. I could have probably have done better with an army, and yeah, now we are going ahead to load that. We're getting rid of a bunch of stuff we don't need. Let's be honest, we don't need the Phoenix. We don't get any benefits from it. Tectulus gets better benefits from it than we do. He, gets to recruit those for much cheaper, along with his sword masters. So he has a pretty cool Doom stack kind of setup with some really fancy. We're going over here to grab this, even though we don't have all the troops I want. It's just I thought we would have some friends to help us. So Tectulus has phoenixes, right, and swordsmen. So you could set up like a 5, 6 maybe swordsman stack, and then some Sisters of Avalorn, 6 of those. So 6 and 6, or 8 and 8, and then have 4, 5 phoenixes, which would be pretty fucking cool. I think it would probably work a lot better than people would think it would work. As those phoenixes, they're pretty badass. I don't know, I might try to do something like that. There's so many ideas, and I love Warhammer, and Total War Tuesdays are gonna exist for fucking ever. The only break from Total War Tuesdays is probably going to be in literally a couple years. There's going to be like Bannerlord. I'm gonna play Bannerlord for the channel. I just love these games far too much. It's just, it's a day, and it'll be a day when that happens. You know, it's not a bad thing either. We just have all these YouTube videos, which I'll eventually, you know, get out there, and I hope you guys will enjoy. We just destroyed that Nautilus faction, and I think doing that, the Shadow Legion, fucking over there on their little island. I don't even know what that island is. That island might be Albion. I don't fucking know. I don't know if he's in canon on Albion or they just plopped him there. They seem to do that when there isn't like a place for people. Let's see what we got here though. Oh, we can confederate. We can't force them to pay us money to confederate. That'd be nice. I think one feature I'd add is with confederation, that they give us whatever money they had. I think that'd be pretty cool. Except all factions are broke and getting armies for essentially free. We're going to, however, decrease the stacks of their armies, of course. We're getting rid of some good units, but also we don't need to be stacking good units on every army. And then we're just going to get rid of this lord entirely. And we do slim them down more outside of this recording. I just wanted to at least include us slimming some of them down. Yeah, she's useful, but I'm going to get rid of her. She's an archmage, which mage lords are good. We're also going to send this guy over. Our legendary lord has evolved. He's got all these lions. He's pretty fucking cool. I like him. I don't really know what his canon is about, but he's like a great axe lord with like a bunch of great axe infantries and then like essentially hounds, which aren't the best, but hey, let's go get some more islands. And you know, he's gonna be a solid, I like to have a legendary lord on our main front, and in a faction where you can get like 2 legendary lords, or like the Vampire Counts, for instance, where you can get all those quote-unquote legendary lords through the blood kisses. It's the benefits like that that are pretty fucking insane. We're declaring war on this guy. We'll go ahead and beat the shit out of him. You see our army coming together? We're getting towards that final army we wanted. So it's like Sisters of Avalorn and all this stuff. And I'm only doing that because our it showed up for a split fucking second. I should have left on screen longer. Because our final army is about to be completed, we're also moving up here because, what's that lady? The lady to our north, the Heart whatever lady, Heart of Avalorn, the Eternal Queen, the Ever Queen. These guys are at war with her. She's eating them alive, but I wanted to send my troops up to reinforce her settlements on the coast, just in case they did a bum rush, because I thought that could really fuck with her. And the Cult of Pleasure down here is pretty extensively strong, and they went to war with her, which essentially means they went to war with everybody. So we're gonna set up some defenses. I know things are jumping around, but if you guys look at the turn counter, this all happened pretty fucking quickly. It was like turn after turn, shit was just happening. And then they come to attack our coastline. But in true high elf fashion, our coasts are well defended. We have fleets, and we're going to defend our coastline from their initial push of their full stacks, which should be really good. And then we can make a push. And by the end of this episode, I didn't say it earlier because, you know, it really wasn't a thing earlier, but I want to claim a Dark Elf settlement. It was going to be whoever went to war with us first. If it was like Bretonia or some shit, it would be over there. I don't know. I've seen wilder things happen. But I want to claim a Dark Elf settlement, and we'll treat that. We've pushed into foreign territory, and that means the expansion age of the elves is going to start, and that'll be when this episode will be done. Now, that does not mean we are done with elves. We are going to do elf playthroughs. That means we're done with this playthrough, because this is like 75, and we have a pretty long playthrough coming up of orcs, and I'm just really not in the place to be chillaxing with all this. We're going to actually hop in here. We're about to do all of our quest battles, and as you guys know, that will draw an end to our episode. You know, I'm feeling really proud. I just wanted to say it while we load into this. We're going to fight this quest battle. We got some elves to fight at some sort of desolate tower area. And it looks like it's dark elves on their fucking dragons and shit. They're here to fucking get their asses kicked again. You know how it is for dark elves. They're going to get stomped on all the way through. I mean, elves in general, Eldar as well. They aren't our mighty humans with chain swords and shit. Don't get me started on the fucking power scaling, dude. I love Warhammer, but I think one of my honest things is before. Actually, I'm gonna talk about the thing I was gonna talk about. I'm really proud of myself. So it is 12:19. I started recording at 11:17. We got 30 minutes of footage done in an hour. So that means it was on average of 2 takes per piece of footage, or per voiceover. I'm really fucking proud of that, dude. I have had a lot of issues with usually it would be 1 o'clock. In complete honesty, by now it would be 1 o'clock. I would have gone 2 hours for one 30-minute segment of footage. So I think that was a vast improvement. Also, look at this shit. I love these little explosions. Now let's talk about power scaling and some of my ideas for it. So, feels like in the books, if you choose a faction that isn't like Imperium of Man, Necrons, whatever, your faction doesn't get wins. I don't know. I was reading some synopsises of 40K, and it seems like the Eldars just get fucked on. It seems like some of these other factions just are getting their absolute shit kicked in. It was sad to see. I don't know. I feel like orcs, Eldar, wherever, because there's a couple factions that could win the war. Let's be honest. Okay, orcs and Tyranids. I think the only other possibility is Necrons, Eldar, Imperium, and Tau all together. I think all of them, if they unified, could create a front against Tyranids, because the issue with the Tyranid swarms is that they're just scouts. The Tyranids we've seen so far, from what I have understood, I may be wrong, are just scouts. That means there's fucking universe eaters, so they're gonna have to get all these glassing ships and just glass these giant sun eaters. I think that'd be really badass. There'd be some cool set pieces. And then maybe do a 2 timeline split, one where there's 3 timelines. One where humanity, unifies. And this, I think, to do this, you would have to, because right now they have the plot line with the Emperor coming back, right? The Emperor is kind of on a recovery because they stole an artifact to fix his chair or whatever. I don't fucking know. He communicated with people, which is cool. Oh, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. But so that's a possibility. He comes back. He's like, we need to stop being xenophobic. And then they get unified, and that's a win. Or Tyranids or orcs, it would be really up in the air. I'd have to say probably Tyranids. I think orcs would put up a good fight, and I think orcs would probably, in that timeline, would probably be the last ones standing with the Imperium of Man, and they would just fall to the Tyranids. And then I think there needs to be another timeline post humans winning, where chaos kind of starts fucking about again. I think that would be really cool. I think that's how 40K would end. I also think 40k needs to be reset. Like, there needs to be, because Age of Sigmar is like a fantasy reset. I think there needs to be a reset for 40k, and I think there needs to be a reset for fantasy so things can go down differently. And then you have this brand new world to have all this fun with and to write all these new stories. And I think storylines could actually be based off of tournaments. Like official Warhammer tournaments with the miniatures and stuff, and how those battles play out is how the stories would play out. And now this is me talking out my ass, but we had our little. I'm a creative writing. That's like my thing. I love creative writing, and I went to a Warhammer casual tournament at my local game store, and I just wrote about like, cause it was 40k. Tyranids beat Man, Orcs beat Tyranids, and then Man came back. Man and Orcs had a pretty stalemate. It was a long, cool fucking fight. The Orcs with a bunch of... I don't really do 40k. I have fantasy miniatures, so I don't really understand what was going on. But I did. The Orcs were doing a lot of melee, and they had vehicles, and it was really cool. And the Imperium took up this defensive point. I should say, the first Man was like... When I referred to Man was like, what are they called? The Space Marines. And then the second Man was like the, what are they called? The Imperial Guard, right? Yeah, I think that's really fucking cool. That is unbelievably cool to me. That there's just... this tournament happened like this, and I think that would make a great story, like... Have it be a single planet with, like, orcs, with, like, having an orc wog and a Tyranid thing arriving on a single planet, and resetting the universe and having the Tyranid swarm be, like, a native species, maybe? Or not a, not a scouting party? Have the fleet, the Tyranid swarms be their own thing? I think that could really benefit... Because these aren't this overwhelming threat. There's like a fact of life where it's like, Tyranids have... They're like a wog. Like, Tyranids have bolstered their numbers enough, and now they're going out to eat to create higher hive mind again. Oops. Oh, well. It's a fact of life. It's happened again. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass. I really do hope someday in my life to see a 40k reset or a 40k victory. And then also to see a fantasy restart, not in Age of Sigmar, like official fantasy. And that's me talking out my butt yet again. But I just wanted to express that. I wanted to, get to talk about what I wanted to talk about. We've got this cool staunch line of spearmen, and we've got their... Not spearmen, they're the Phoenix Guards with the glaives. And then Tyrion's an absolute fucking powerhouse. We're losing some of our units, which is pretty sad. But it actually won't be an issue. Like, if we lose, a Swordmaster of Hoeth or something, it's not like they're, tier 7, tier 8. We could get rid of it. And then also there's, we have two of these, what do you call them? We have two of these Lothran Sea Guards for no fucking reason. We need to get rid of those guys. Do Sisters of Avalorn or something. Doesn't really matter. It's something. And then, let's just beat the shit out of these guys. They'll falter pretty quickly if we do magic and shit and just spam. And also Tyrion's just going to absolutely be a powerhouse with melee even though he's getting the shit beaten out of him by like 12 people. But yeah, I do apologize for the Warhammer rant. I love this game, just like I love D&D, and D&D kind of resets its world for different campaigns that your players are doing that can link together, and you can link them together how you wish. And I kind of wish for something like that for 40k to allow for all these, for a bunch of unique storytelling and stuff. I think that'd be really cool. And to let different book series have like a 6th book about the Eldar, have 4 books about the Tyranids, You know, it's all this crap. I think that'd be really cool to have these focused books on different groups and they're getting their victories. And I think a reset to 40k and having there be a status quo where planets aren't getting destroyed. I think taking away that ability outside of the Imperium and not having the Imperium do it, like only have them do it for chaos. I think taking away the glassing of planets and having, you know, taking away Tyranids actually eating plants would be really good. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or whenever you're watching this. I hope you guys come back for more. If not, I hope you enjoyed your time here. I hope to see you guys again next time. If not, that's alright. As always, positive affirmations. It means the world to me that you guys watch this. Thank you guys for watching another episode. Thank you guys for your time. It means the fucking world to me. I will never understand it, and I'm so thankful. So